While Mayor Nutter pulls down a 30-floor building, Temple receives legitimate funding for a new football stadium. Hello, I'm Corey Meredith.
And I'm Steve Graham. Tibetan monks have once again arrived at LaSalle's campus, while the rest of the university is preparing and participating in Halloween events. We have all this and more coming up on LTV News, where the action never stops.
Welcome to LTV News, where we bring you everything LaSalle, Philadelphia, and world news.
We have plenty coming your way today with Madison Elliott sitting down with Student Government Association President Beckett Woodworth to discuss their recent forum with the other Big Five Philadelphia schools. But first, let's see what's happening at LaSalle. It is no secret that positivity is a hard find when a child is suffering from cancer. But the Be Positive Foundation serves children fighting cancer and making their day just a little brighter. On October 25th, Panhellenic women at LaSalle hosted their third annual Be Positive Run to raise awareness and donations for the cause. On the day of the run, Panhellenic women and supporters raised a little under $1,000 for the Be Positive Foundation, in addition to thousands of dollars raised prior to the event. All money raised will help those children and their families fight cancer. LaSalle will continue to be positive for years to come.
With Halloween quickly approaching, LaSalle made sure they had plenty of spectacular activities happening around campus. Late Night LaSalle and the Resident Student Association held a pumpkin carving and painting event this past Saturday night. Students also had the opportunity to win some gift cards if they entered their pumpkin in the contest. On Saturday, October 24th, the Resident Student Association sponsored a trip to the Valley of Fear. They had a great turnout and the brave students who were willing to take on the haunted hayride. Now get ready to be spooked even more, because Late Night LaSalle will also be hosting a haunted house this Friday from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the Union Lobby. The fun does not stop there. On November 1st, the community building team will be holding a trash bash in which a LaSalle student will be able to interact with the community and also help clean up the neighborhood. Make sure to try and head out to these events because you won't want to miss them.
Tibetan monks have once again arrived here on LaSalle's campus, creating their traditional sand mandala. The mandalas are created with colored sand, and once complete, they are dismantled and released into the nearest body of water. I had the chance to go to LaSalle's Art Museum and check out their artwork. Take a look. LaSalle University welcomed back the Tibetan monks to wrap up the month of October on 20th and Olney. The monks returned again for a week-long stay to create the Medicine Buddha's mandala, which is a part of their traditional practice of meditation and ritual. While LaSalle students and faculty are most notably around the Lasallian Christian Brothers each semester, the religion department invited members of the Buddhist culture to show a belief system outside of Catholicism.
This is an opportunity to demonstrate how a monastic tradition, distinct from the Brothers, which, also has a monastic tradition, performs rituals with the aim to achieve some of the same kinds of goals, like world peace, compassion, understanding. And the monks travel around the United States. The Drepung Gomang monks come from their monastery, partly to demonstrate the arts that go along with their traditions. So that's why it's happening in an art museum.
The decision to create the Medicine Buddha mandala this fall came from the recent news of health concerns canceling the Dalai Lama's visit to LaSalle this year. However, these monks had plenty of art forms to choose from.
So we have many different mandalas, and like this is the sand mandala, and some are the painting mandalas, some are the meditation mandalas, so many different mandalas. And we need to the mandala which is for the meditation, because this is the meditation is for seed for the getting the future, what is reality mandala we will need in the future.
Students, faculty, and other guests visited the art museum throughout the week before the completion ritual. Once the final image is completed, the Tibetan monks brush the mandala back into tiny grains of sand to recognize the reality of impermanence. For LTV News, I'm Steve Graham.
It's time for our first commercial break, but when we come back, we bring you Philly news. Stay tuned.
Today, Eric Almirola behind the wheel in that 43 car.
We all have a role to play here at Richard Petty Motorsports. We respect each other, work hard, and that helped us get the big win in Daytona. My partners in the U.S. Air Force also know that it takes a team to make each mission a success. Your coworkers, family, and friends are your team. Treat them with respect, and together you can accomplish great things. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
My name is Carly. I'm 15 years old and I am a heart recipient. I got my first heart transplant when I was 1.5 years old. I got my second heart when I was 13. When I get my driver's license, of course I'm going to say yes to be an organ donor. I've been saved twice, so who says I can't save somebody else?
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Welcome back to LTV News. Let's take a look at what's happening in the city. The Temple University football team is having one of its most successful seasons in recent memory. Currently undefeated at 7-0 and ranked 21st in the country, the Owls are now considering moving from the Philadelphia Eagles Lincoln Financial Field to their very own football stadium on Temple's campus. On December 8th, the Temple Board of Trustees will meet and be presented with a proposal for a $100 million, 35,000-seat stadium to be constructed next to the school's McGonigal Hall from Broad Street to 16th Street. While many fear the cost will be higher than $1 million, most still expect the stadium to get done. The stadium has been a top priority of the university. President Neil Harris hasn't come to fruition until point because of the previous cost uncertainty.
On Thursday, October 22nd, Mayor Nutter rappelled down a 31-story building in order to raise money for the Outward Bound program. He rappelled off the One Logan Square building in Center City to raise money during the Building Adventure event, which is the annual fundraiser held by the Philadelphia Outward Bound School. Its executive director, Katie Newsom, Uzek has stated that the money raised by the fundraiser will go to a local scholarship fund and public and charter schools in Philadelphia. The fundraiser managed to raise over $200,000 in donations this year alone. This isn't the first time Mayor Nutter has helped out with the fundraiser, as he rappelled off the same building for the fundraiser last year.
Camden waterfront renovations are underway beginning in the fall of 2016. Directly south of the Benjamin Franklin Bridge, the current parking lot and minor league baseball field will be transformed into office buildings, apartments, and retail space, totaling 1.7 million square feet. The project, simply called the Camden Waterfront, has a goal of rebuilding America's most dangerous city into an area of community, family, and business. Renovations will include 325 residential units, a 120-room hotel, 27,000 square feet of retail space, a parking garage that is big enough to fit 5,000 cars, while also offering a skyline view of Philadelphia. Investors are already showing interest in the building, but no confirmations have been made. The approximated cost of the Camden waterfront is $1 billion, the biggest private sector investment in the city's history, and is planned to be completed by 2019.
Not exactly Philadelphia, but only a state away, Jimmy Kimmel wrapped up his final show in Brooklyn on Friday night with public enemy Howard Stern and the New York Mets. The late-night host returned to his New York roots for a week and taped at the Brooklyn Academy of Music's Howard Gilmore's Opera House. Some memorable moments from last week's include a Back to the Future skit with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd reprising their roles, the misadventures of Cousin Sal, and the last-minute cancellation of Donald Trump. Kimmel announced that he will return to his hometown in 2016 to film another installment of Jimmy Kimmel Live, Brooklyn.
It's time for another commercial break, but don't touch that remote. When we return, we will take a look at the world.
And later, Madison Elliott sits down with SGA President Beckett Woodworth. You don't want to miss this.
My name is Blake. I received a heart transplant when I was 2 weeks old. I play defense for the Red Hot Tornadoes. The best part about playing soccer is that I just get to run around and have fun. Just because I had a heart transplant, I don't expect people to take it easy on me. I can still do anything they can do. Sometimes my heart starts pounding like faster and faster as I go. I know I have someone else's heart inside me. It makes me feel happy because someone was generous enough to give me a second chance to live. I feel like it's my responsibility to live each day to the fullest. And the thing I look forward to the most is having my own family.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Please follow me. He knows where my next class is.
%31% of female victims stalked by an intimate partner were sexually assaulted by that partner. For more help, visit www.victimsofcrime.org.
Today, a new creature walks among us, terrorizing innocent citizens. Until this threat can be contained, we must all be on the lookout for the dreaded digital deadwalkers.
Dude!
They're not looking out for you.
Engage!
A public service safety message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep everyone well connected with strong, healthy bones.
The case of Sandra Bland's death is now being investigated as a homicide rather than the initial suicide belief. In early July, Sandra Bland was pulled over and arrested in Waller County, Texas, for failing to signal a lane change. She was taken into custody and was later found dead in her jail cell. The Waller County officers claim that her death was a self-inflicted strangling. Officers say that she would never do that she was suffering from depression, but her family said that she would never do anything of this nature. The suspicion has led FBI and Texas Rangers to investigate the case as a homicide after the release of photos and videos that were causing uproar publicly. The case is still under investigation.
Hurricane Patricia devastated the Pacific coast of Mexico this month. Patricia is the strongest storm on record in the Western Hemisphere, and on October 23rd, this unbelievably powerful storm struck the coast of Mexico. The eye of the storm touched down on the coastline about 45 miles northwest of the port city Manzanillo. While dumping torrential rain, the storm carried 165 mile-per-hour winds. Patricia uprooted trees and caused 15 to 20-foot waves to crash the shore along the coast. It is hard to believe that this horrific hurricane started as a small tropical storm, transforming into a hurricane within 48 hours, ultimately taking even experts by surprise. We send our condolences to the victims of the harsh storm.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton testified before the House Select Committee about the 2012 Benghazi attack that killed 4 American citizens, including U.S. Libya Ambassador Chris Stevens. Clinton sat before the committee for 11 hours answering questions about the attack. The committee has been investigating the 2012 attack since 2013 and is made up of 7 Republicans and 5 Democrats. Throughout the 11 hours, Clinton focused on what her and her aides did and what they could have done different. Quote, "I've thought more about what happened than all of you put together. I've lost more sleep than all of you put together. I've been racking my brain about what could have been done, should have been done," end quote. The committee has no upcoming hearings scheduled.
Bacon in the morning, ham and cheese on rye bread for lunch, and steak for dinner. This meal cycle seems to be widely consumed, but you may want to reconsider. According to the World Health Organization, eating processed meat such as sausages and ham causes cancer, while unprocessed red meat may also be carcinogenic. Based on hundreds of studies, these tests have linked processed meat to colon cancer. The report also found that eating just 50 grams of processed meat each day can increase the risk of cancer by 18%. However, there is another side to all this. Betsy Boren, Vice President of Scientific Affairs at the North American Meat Institute, believes, quote, "The report tortured the data to ensure a specific outcome," unquote.
That just about does it for World News, but before we sign out, Madison Elliott sits down with SGA President Beckett Woodworth after this commercial break.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
Elliott here, and today I'm sitting down with SGA President Beckett Woodworth. So Beckett, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Madison.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to be on LTV.
Thank you for always helping us out. So Saturday, October 24th was a big day. It was the first ever Big 5 University Council meeting. So what was all that about? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, so we've been organizing this since last April. All the student body presidents and their executive teams from Drexel, Penn, LaSalle, St. Joe's, and Temple, of course. We all got together. We had an email chain going through, and we thought it'd be a great idea to meet. And this was the first time we've ever actually been in the same place together. So we thought it'd be a good idea to talk about issues that we share. Just because Philadelphia, Temple, Drexel, LaSalle, Penn, all these schools represent 100,000 students in the city. So those 100,000 people, I mean, they're important.
Definitely.
You know, it's worth a discussion.
So how did this get started? You said you've been talking since April. So have the presidents always communicated but never met, and then, or was this somebody who was just like, hey, we should do this?
To my knowledge, it's the first time we've ever actually communicated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know that Drexel and Penn, since they're so close, they've communicated before, but never all 5 of us. It's the first time.
So what was that like, being in the room with all the 5 SGA presidents? Was it intimidating?
Oh, of course, definitely. When you're in a room of that capacity with, I mean, so many people of power, I want to say, it's a little intimidating, but at the same time, we're all students. We all are in those positions because we care about our schools, and we love the people who we represent.
So what were some of the issues that you addressed, and what are some of the things you're hoping to do working together as the City 5?
So the most important issues that we addressed were community relations, sexual misconduct, and alcohol and other drugs. We wanted to talk about those because we all agreed through email that those were the most important at our schools, and surprisingly, we have a lot in common. I think it was a very productive meeting, even though it was only the first.
Right.
We do, however, have 4 more scheduled for this upcoming academic year.
Okay, so 4, is that going to be, one are those going to be, is there going to be another one this fall, or are they going to be in the spring?
There's going to be 1 more before December and 3 more next year in spring 2016. And one of those is actually going to be at LaSalle.
Oh, so in the ballroom or Tom Gola, where are they going to have it?
Well, we strategically chose spring 2016 because that's when the new business school will be open.
That's right.
So we're hoping that administrators will let us use their big boardroom up on top, because Temple really impressed. They set a very high precedent when they had us at Temple. We got there about 11 a.m. on Saturday. They took us around a tour of Temple. They gave us a free meal, and my favorite part, when they gave us this free meal, they had a piano player, professional piano player.
A piano player?
Yeah, accompanying our meal. So if you know anyone who plays piano,
I mean, I could
let
try.
me know.
I don't know how good I'd be. I played the flute in grade school. Does that count? I mean,
Yeah,
I could
of course.
do that.
Yeah,
No, I don't know.
give us some nice music
Wow.
to listen to. Yeah, and we had this meeting at the top of Morgan Hall. And I don't know if you know what Morgan Hall is, but it's the tallest building in North Philadelphia.
Okay.
27 stories, brand new dorm building. And on the very top of it, you can see a 360-degree view of Philadelphia. So almost as impressive as our new business school, but
Almost, but not quite.
I don't know. I think they're going to be blown away, but we'll see.
Well, this will be a great way for LaSalle to show it off, so that's exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
So what are some of the things that together the schools want to work on moving forward? Are you going to plan like fundraisers together, events together on the different campuses? What were you guys talking about?
So right now, what we're talking about is we have all of our students. They'll go out to Drexel, out to Temple, out to UPenn. We're such a small city in that way that students like to travel around. We want to kind of create uniform policies so that students will know what to expect when they get on that campus. One thing that we're working on in the future is creating an overall amnesty. Making sure that students know that if your friend is in danger from maybe having too much alcohol, that they should call the police, call the security, and let them know that their friend is in danger. Temple recently had an incident where a student died because of that.
That's awful.
So that's something we want to avoid, and what we as student leaders can definitely help with.
And how can students on campus get involved with that? Like starting,
That's
now?
definitely to be continued.
Okay.
We need to work with LaSalle administration first in order to get that amnesty policy here at the school, which we don't currently have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so who were the presidents that were there with their executive boards?
The names?
Yes, if you remember them all.
Nick Chingas with St. Joe's, James Gordon with Drexel, Jane Meyer with UPenn,
Okay.
Ryan Rinaldi with Temple. Wow, I can't
Wow,
believe I
I'm
remember
impressed.
all
You
this.
remember them all.
I know,
Well,
me
it's
too.
good. Well, you're the president. You're supposed to
Yeah.
remember people's names, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
good
we're friends
politics.
now. I even requested them on Facebook. Yeah.
Whoa.
I know. It's getting
that
Facebook official.
that just got big.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for some Instagram follow backs, but
Hopefully
we're
that'll
definitely
happen. I'll
getting
cross
on
my
that
fingers
level.
for you. Next
Yeah.
is Twitter.
Yeah.
So why was this decided? Why now? Why hasn't something like this happened before in the history of the Big Five?
I don't know, but it's never a bad time to start.
Right.
I really do think that we have a dedicated group. All 5 of us really are excited to move forward with this. And yeah, it's never too late to start.
And what do you think one last question, what do you think your favorite part about the whole event was?
Ooh, Wow. Well, it was funny actually. When we had our lunch, we went up to the top of Morgan Hall, and our lunch was a buffet style, and it was provided by Aramark. Temple dining, which was almost exactly the same as LaSalle dining. And so my favorite part was having their food and recognizing it, having it once in B&G.
It's like the same food, different school, doesn't matter. We're all the same.
So we do have so much in common. You wouldn't believe it.
That's great. Well, Beckett, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, no problem.
Madison Elliott, back to you, Steve and Corey.
Alrighty, and before we go, we have some things for you to know. And I just rhymed. To start, Saturday, ESPN College Game Day will be in Old City at Independence Hall, promoting the Temple football game against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Personally, I'm an Irish fan, but I won't say that here. I'm an Irish fan. Go to Independence Hall. It's unbelievable. There's big signs everywhere. Probably mostly Temple students at this, but great sight to see. And then if you have tickets,
students can go too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone can go.
Yeah, and you have tickets.
Have
go
fun.
down right down to South Philly. Lincoln Financial Field is hosting the game. Secondly, Saturday night, midnight, fall back on your clocks. You get an extra hour of sleep with daylight savings time.
My favorite time of year. Yep. I mean, personally, I like the spring, but I always like sleep, so fallback is great. Don't forget that. Oh, also changes the battery on your smoke alarms so that you're all set for the winter. And another thing coming up on Tuesday. Big news. Tuesday,
Vote,
November
people.
3rd is the mayor's race.
Who you got?
And our own alum from LaSalle, obviously, is Jim Kenney. He's running for the Democratic Party, and he's going up against Republican Melissa Murray Bailey.
Yes.
So this should be big.
Very interesting. Find the local place
It's
to
going to be
vote.
a good race.
And that is your things to know.
Yeah. Make sure to vote. Make sure to find your local place to vote too. So thank you, Madison. You be sure to find us on the web as well as the rest of LaSalle TV on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalle TV. You can tweet at us at LaSalle TV Philly or email us your thoughts at lasalletv@lasalle.edu.
And if you missed the scoop and want to see it, you can find episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/LaSalle56. Until next time, from Madison, Corey, and the entire crew, I'm Steve Graham. Thanks for watching LTV News, where the action never stops.